morning everyone, this is Tony from her Homestead Skills, and starting a little bit late today, but any of you that have watched a few of my last videos will know I have a mound of green peppers to preserve, because there's no way that we're going to eat all those fresh, that's for sure. And I've done a bit of running around this morning, got caught up in a few things doing a few things that I didn't expect, but all of it's good. And so right now I plan to freeze my green peppers, and peppers are one of the few fruits that you don't have to blanch, which is really nice. So it's basically just cutting them open, taking all the seeds out, or most of the seeds, it doesn't matter if you leave a few, and I'm going to lay them out on a tray to freeze. I am going to cut them into strips because that's probably the way I'll use them. I would probably use them more fried. So like if I'm going to have a veal sandwich, fried peppers are awesome on them. So, and there's probably other ways to use it, but certainly cutting them into strips is a way to go. I may cut some into chunks as well, but for right now, I'll see how that goes. And perhaps I will have some that I will pickle as well. I may just leave some aside, or I may do that today, do both of them. I'd like to get through the whole thing today. So let's get started. Okay, so I'm gonna wash all these and then I will get back to you. Okay, so I've got all my peppers washed. I've got a tray with some freezer paper laying on it, which is very good because it doesn't stick to freezer paper. I've bought this roll and I didn't think I'd have too much use for it, and I'm finding uses for it everywhere, so, which is wonderful. And I've got my cutting board and a nice sharp knife. I don't need to wear gloves because these are not hot peppers. If they were hot peppers, you absolutely do need a knife. So I'm going to start off with cutting off the end and just cutting them in half. Quickest way to clean them, and I have a bowl to toss the garbage away. So as I said, I'm going to cut them into strips, and they don't have to be terribly thin strips either. Yeah, these look like healthy peppers. I was a little afraid that when I opened them up they wouldn't be, but they're still very nice. Okay, so this is the process that I'm using. And no point in saving seeds. You cannot get a plant from immature pepper plants. They will not produce a plant for you. I know that from trial and error. I've done that in the past. I saved seed from green peppers. Doesn't work. Okay, so this is the process, and I will likely put some aside for pickling, but we'll get to those later. So I'm going to complete this process, and actually it looks like it's going to go fairly smoothly. And yes, I could cut them in half and then cut them in smaller pieces. I'm just going to take the end off that, but there's really no need. Even though some of these are fairly long. Now, I picked these yesterday. It would have been nice if I was able to get around to them yesterday. I wasn't, so things like this do deteriorate quickly, so it's good to get to them as soon as you can. And yes, there's no spoilage, which I'm really pleased with, only because they have been spoiling as soon as they start to mature, which is pretty sad state of affairs, actually. Okay, so I'm going to continue along this process. As you can see, there's the odd seed left. That's not a problem. So I'll continue this until these are all done, and then we'll get back to you. Okay, I've had a little bit of a change of heart. I'm going to prepare some of them for pickling right now. And before I do that, I've got to refill my sea salt jar. Okay, now that I have a full jar, and I'm glad I took it over to the sink, I've got a pot of water, and I'm going to put some salt in the water. And yeah, the sea salt doesn't have any clumping agents, or sorry, anti-clumping agents, and it's non-iodized, so I prefer to use that for anything that I'm canning. You can use canning salt as well, but the sea salt works fine for me. Okay, so I've got salted water. The little peppers that I'm cutting up, I am going to use them for pickling, and the reason I'm using the little ones is that I should be able to put them into a pint jar without having to cut them up. So that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to choose some colored ones and some smaller green ones for pickling, and I'm going to put them in the salted water for now. Okay, the other ones do not get watered, they just get cut up and then put in the freezer. Alright, so I'll continue along. Looks like I have a good amount for pickling as well, and I'm going to increase the water level in this so that they are totally submerged in water. Okay, I also cut away anything that was damaged. You don't really want to preserve vegetables that are not in good shape, so I felt it would be best to just get rid of them, and you're going to find some that are damaged for sure, especially with the way that what we've been dealing with peppers this year. Okay, and I found some more small ones that I'm going to put aside for pickling. Now I'm just going to continue to cut the balance of these into slices. I have everything ready here. I've got a pot of water on to act as my water bath canner, and it's almost come to a boil. I've got 6 jars packed with my peppers as snugly as I could. I've got 6 cloves of garlic. I'm going to toss 1 in each jar. Now I've almost had second thoughts, and actually I just may do this. Okay, for my husband who does like hot foods, I'm going to add a smidgen of red pepper flakes to half of these. Just a fraction though. Just in case I decide to eat some, it will make it palatable for me as well. Okay, my brine is boiling. I've got my vinegar, my lids. I've got a chopstick to take the bubbles out, and I've got my little magnetic wand there to pick up the lids. So at this point, my brine is super hot, and I'm going to fill these jars up to 1/2 inch headspace. There they are, my 6 jars of pickled peppers, and I'm going to show you what I've done with my frozen ones. Okay, so frozen ones have been vacuum sealed, and let's see if I can get a better view of this. Yeah. Okay, so frozen ones have been vacuum sealed, and they sealed nicely. They did not crack and break, which I was a little afraid they might. And I got, at least 4 to 6 packages of these, and use them up both ways. At least they've been processed, they've been stored, produce from my garden, and that is always awesome. Okay, perfect. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you in the next one.